What's going on, everybody? Tonight's video is one that is supposed to help you change the way that you think about money. So, I'm just going to be blunt here and let you know that the rich think about money differently than the poor or middle class. It is fundamental in how they are raised and how they do pretty much everything. And it is truly the missing link between the classes, what takes them to the next level and keeps us down below. And that is something that we are going to break through so that everyday people like you and I can go to the next level and can reach our full potential in our financial health. So a lot of this video is going to be excerpts or, a simplified version of the book that I told you guys to read or listen to, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So a lot of the book is trying to help you understand that there is a mindset and an understanding that rich people have that other people do not. And at its core, it is that they look to spend their money on things that will make them money. So let's run that back one more time. The rich use their money to make more money. The poor and middle class use their money to buy things. So think about that for a second. There are people, especially in the middle class, who have access to great amounts of money. And instead of using that money to create generational wealth, i.e., money that will last for generations, they use that money to buy things, trinkets, things to impress their neighbors, to impress their friends, things that do not matter, things that will not hold their value, things that they cannot later sell for an increase in value. And this is a term that is quite often used, and it's called keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with the Smiths. So this term means that when you see your neighbor or your friend buying that brand new Porsche or that nice big boat, you then want something similar. You don't want to be left in the dust because you feel like they are doing better than you. And truth be told, 90% of the time, it's an illusion. They have bought those things with money that they do not have. They have created new debt for themselves. And debt is when you owe somebody, usually a bank, money. And the more debt that you get yourself in, the harder it is to get to the next level because you're just barely trying to scratch away at what you already owe. And you're just digging a big old hole for yourself in the long run. So this idea of keeping up with the Joneses or keeping up with the Smiths is terrible. It's detrimental to your financial health. So you have to see what your neighbors and your friends are doing and throw it out the window. It does not apply to you. It does not matter to you because you now know through the things that I'm going to teach you that it doesn't matter. There are more important things to set your sights on. And the quicker that you can understand these things, the better off you are. Honestly, for a lot of people, it takes a little bit of age to understand these things. I'm now at this time 28 years old, and I have spent tons and tons of money on things that were unimportant. I have been fortunate enough in my professional career to make probably millions and millions of dollars. And right now, at the shooting of this video, I do not have a fraction of that at my disposal. And that is because of poor planning, poor financial health, and poor financial literacy. Things that I want you guys to understand so that you don't make the same mistakes that I have. I am hopeful that I have enough of my life ahead of me that I will bounce back and it will not be a huge problem for me. But it is sickening to me to think of how much money I have blown, how much money I could have put away towards a positive future, towards investments that would make me money. But I digress. That's unimportant. That's the past. I'm learning from these things, and I hope that you learn from me so that you don't have to learn for yourself, because that is when it hurts a little bit more. So let's get into how the rich think. So at a very fundamental level, and you would know exactly what I'm talking about if you have read or listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you haven't, it's not too late. Please do that. Robert Kiyosaki is a great, great author, and he will put this so much better than I can. Well, I'm just going to try to scratch the surface. And at the fundamental level, the book is about what you put your money into. So the rich try to put their money into things that will make them money. They try to buy duplexes, apartments, homes, uh, stocks that have great upside futures. Um, they try to invest in businesses that have a lot of potential. They buy special commodities that almost definitely will go up in value, kind of like gold. That's a good example. And the poor buy things like Air Jordans, iPhones, brand new sports cars that they buy on credit, where they owe the bank the money and the interest plus, you know, however many years that they stretch it out to make it affordable for them. It's only affordable if you have the money. If you're having to buy it on credit, that's maybe not affordable. You have to really, really look at it. I'm not saying that if you buy a vehicle on credit, it's a terrible thing, but you have to know what you're getting into. So the rich buy things that they understand will have upside in value and have the possibility to bring in what they call passive income, which is it makes money just by existing. They don't necessarily have to do anything on a day-to-day or month-to-month basis like you would at a job. But the poor and middle class continue to buy trinkets. They buy doodads, as he calls it in Rich Dad Poor Dad. And these things have nothing of value. If you buy a $500 Gucci shirt, you're not going to be able to sell it for $500 or more. You're going to sell it for $200, maybe $300, a fraction of its value. But if you buy a home at the right time and put the necessary procedures into it to bring it up in value, you can rent that property or you can sell it for a profit. These are the things that the rich think about. And these are the things that we need to change our mind so that we understand them too. At the fundamental level, truly the difference between those that succeed and those that are living paycheck to paycheck is they understand the value of their money. See, when I buy a brand new iPhone, I think of my money being worth $1,000. My 1,000 US dollars is worth exactly that, 1,000 US dollars. The rich see 1,000 US dollars as an endless possibility to bring in more money. There are tons and tons of ways to make your money make you money, and that's something that we will talk about further in this series. But today, we need to understand that the things that you buy are unimportant. That feeling you get when you buy something new or expensive will always go away. It is unimportant. I have bought $40,000 watches, $100,000 cars. I've run up $20,000 credit card bills. It doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you today that it doesn't matter. I promise you. The things that do matter are peace of mind. Peace of mind is all that matters, truly. When you go to bed at night, you don't need to worry about where your next meal is going to come from, where your next payment for your rent or your mortgage is going to come from, or how in the world am I going to retire when I'm old and feeble and unable to continue to work. Those are things that should never cross a human being's mind. And unfortunately, the majority of us think about those things often. So that is really the objective of this series and the objective of this video is to help us change our mindset. Think about how could I best use this money that I have? How could I best use my talents? If I invest in things that are assets, true assets. And you need to read the book to understand what a true asset is. Something that will truly go up in value that doesn't have much of a downside to it. Things that can bring money in, hopefully on a daily or monthly basis. If I invest in assets, I am getting myself away from that keeping away with the Joneses. The more things that you have that are assets that are bringing in passive income, the less that you have to worry and the less that you have to work. Eventually, and this is something that Robert Kiyosaki talks about quite often in his book and even through his board game, Cash Flow, which I would recommend that everyone plays for free on his website, is there's this rat race, living paycheck to paycheck. We are trying to not have to work every single day just to eat. We're trying to get away from working every single day to pay our mortgage. Well, if you invest in these passive income assets, eventually there will come a time where your income outweighs your necessary spending to live. And at that time, you're free. You could quit your job tomorrow in theory and be okay. And that is what it's all about. That is how you retire at the given time and not worry. Because there will come a time when you are too old, too feeble, and too tired to work anymore. And the way that most people in America live, they will not be able to retire. They're living paycheck to paycheck. How can they even skip one day of work, let alone a month or a year or the next 20 years when they're old? These are things that people don't think about when they're my age. I'm 28. I go to work every single day. I bust my butt. But there will come a time when I'm unable to do those things. And I hope and I pray that I have set things in order from my younger years now to where I get to that point. And if you're watching this video and you're a young teenager or early 20s, now is the time to set the stage for your retirement and for your future. Time is one of your most important assets that if you don't use wisely, you will regret it. And I will show you in these videos how to use time to your advantage. Going back to the last video, one of the things that I mentioned was we need to set up an Acorns account. Excuse me. An Acorns account is essentially a hassle-free, no-frills Roth IRA. As I've mentioned several times, we're going to discuss what a Roth IRA is in further detail, and how you can set one up for yourself that you can actually pick and choose how it goes. But for right now, please, please, please set up an Acorns account, because it is the easiest thing to do and to not have to worry about the future. So I hope that you guys take away a few things from this video, but the main thing is that we need to start thinking differently. We need to start thinking like the rich. Please, please, please read or listen to A Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'll put a link in the description below. It will change your life, I promise you. But what we need to think is, how can I use my money to make me more money? Don't think, how can I go buy this fancy car? How can I go buy these fancy clothes? Because those things are unimportant. And if you get to a point in your life where all of the things are taken care of and those things are important to you, you still want that Porsche, you still want that Corvette, you will be at a point in your life where it doesn't matter. You can get it. It will be no sweat off of your brow. You know, you won't have to go to the dealership and say, please, please stretch it out to a 6-year financing. I won't be able to afford it any other way. Please, I can't afford 5%. Make it 4, please. You know, you're going to be able to go in there and pay cash. That is the goal, to be able to go into a dealership and without any stress buy a vehicle that you can 100% afford, not just pay the payments to. There's a big difference. Being able to pay the payments and being able to afford something are completely different things. And that's something that young folk, myself included when I was younger, don't understand. So don't get yourself wrapped up in these things. Try to avoid it for as long as you can until your financial literacy is very well versed and you understand exactly what you're getting into. You understand the terms, you understand how much you're going to pay, you're going to understand the strategies that you need to employ to get the best deal. So, takeaways from this video are to think deeply about how you can utilize your money to make you more money. And we're going to talk about these things more fully in the future. I'm going to give you guys a few ideas, but you are the architect and the author of your own fate. You may have ideas that I can't even fathom. See, to me, I understand things that have been done, you know, real estate, stock markets, bonds, gold, things that are fairly well known. But you guys, you might understand or think of something beyond my understanding, and I hope you do. I hope you guys think of something that will blow what I have out of the water. So start thinking of things that you can do that you put money into that have the potential to bring you 10, 15, 20% profit returns. And when you start thinking of things in that manner, that will take you from the poor and middle class way of thinking to the rich way of thinking. And that is what I hope for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting quite a few more videos similar to this. We're going to be talking about a plethora of topics that have to do with financial health and financial literacy. And I hope that you guys take a lot away from this. Please read any books that I reference and watch any videos that I reference, because they will have the potential to change your life. Well, until next time, it's a swell life. Have a good one.